No worries.
Well, hello, and here we are again for the John and Lori show. We like to
Yes.
talk about success for teens. And really, this ends up being success in your life, in all different areas of your life. And so today, John and I wanted to talk to you about attitude. And there's so many different aspects on attitude, and it's not just all about a good and a bad attitude. And so I wanted John to talk about, he's had a lot of experience in this, and he has helped a lot of people through this. So John, do you want to get us started today on our conversation?
And that'd be great. I will tell you the one thing I learned about attitude is um, it starts with, and we've talked about this before in the views of how we look at things. Attitude starts with how you have an attitude towards yourself. Okay. So when how you view yourself and the attitude you choose to view yourself with determines your days, how well they're going to be or how bad they're going to be. I read a book a long time ago called Fish. It was a really cool book. It was put out by the owner of a place called the Pike Place Fish Market. And you guys might not remember the name of the business, but you'll remember the videos of the people throwing fish across the counter and catching it and bringing customers back behind the counter and having them catch the fish and all that.
I've been
You
there.
remember
I've
those?
done that. I've actually
Yeah,
been to Pike's
yeah,
Fish Market
yeah.
and actually done that. Yeah.
It is a great place. But the guy that wrote the book Fish, the owner of the business, he really um the majority of what he used in that book dealt with how his crew, how his staff came to work each day and the attitude they brought
Mm.
to the workplace. And he made it fun for them.
Mm.
That's where all the throwing of the fish came from. He made it fun. He gave them a reason to have a good attitude when they walked in the door.
Mm. Wow.
And that just grew. And if you were to know the staff members of that business that had gone through that course, if you want to call it that, with this gentleman that owned this business,
Right.
you would realize that today they live a pretty cool life. And they've kept those pieces of that this guy put together to determine your attitude of how you walk in the store each day. They've kept those and moved on with their lives with those same principles. And it shows. It shows drastically. And
Wow.
so, the deal about an attitude is it will create how your life will be for you. If you want to have a bad attitude, you're going to have a bad life. If you want to have a great attitude, you're going to have a great life and you're going to bring a lot of great people along with you. Okay. That's the one thing I learned when I was in that and teaching those principles myself for my businesses. I had great people that followed me. I had great teams and staffs that changed hotels with me and stayed with me and came in and helped me open a new property. And oh my gosh, was it a blast to open a new property with that kind of people.
Yeah.
The attitude, you bring what you want out of it. And it can be as good, bad, or ugly as you want to be. And I promise you, the more good you put into your attitude, the more good you're going to see come out of it on the other side. And it's going to bring you so many blessings and so many resources and connections. I even look at now with what I'm going through. I've got connections. Literally, I've been blessed. I have been. I have connections all over the world that have, that have reached out to me and said, John, your attitude going through this is as just unbelievable. We commend you for it. That's why we're behind you. That's why we're a prayer warrior for you. And that's why we want to see you make this work. It's all about how, and that's how I showed up in their world. I came with a good attitude into their world and they remembered it.
Wow.
And so when they came back into my world, into what I'm going through, they brought that same attitude with them. And it was so nice. And it just, it's an honor to know that you can bring those kind of things with you,
Yeah.
but literally you can. You can bring a great attitude into any conversation you want. How do you do it? Bring a great attitude into the conversation yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not rocket science, folks. It's not. But it's very, very, that's why this is in the chapter that says little things matter.
Yeah.
Bringing a great attitude is really a little thing.
Right.
If you remember to do it that way.
Right.
So that's one of the things that, and
so just on that point, I remember hearing this man's story, and I won't tell you his name because he's pretty famous. And anyway, so I don't have permission to share his name. But when he was a young man, he had a really hard life, like no money, a missing father, a mom that just could not take care of him. I mean, he had everything was against this kid. And so, but he loved football. He loved, he just knew he was going to grow up and be this amazing businessman. And so as a teenager, I think he was like 18, 19, I'm not quite sure. But he personally told me this story at a gathering, a dinner one time. And my husband and I sat at his table. We were in round tables. So as he was telling this story and we were getting to know people better, he said, when I think he said 19. I'm not quite sure. He said, I wanted to go to this football game and I wanted to be in the VIP seats. He said, but I could barely scrape enough money together just to get me in the door. And he had gone to the thrift store and bought himself a suit and some really nice dark glasses and got really dressed up the very best that he possibly could. And he went up into his really tall nosebleed section seats, way up at the top, and he just started watching and he started looking and he's like, I am going to be in the VIP section. He just kept saying that over and over and over. He's going, I am going to be there and I'm going to make a difference in people's lives. And he watched where people were not sitting. And then he went down, and I am not saying that this is what you should do, but this is what he did. He just had the attitude that he knew what he was doing. He knew that he belonged there and that he was going to sit in those seats. And he made it all the way down there in those seats through the VIP whole gathering, got food, he did the whole VIP thing. Got in those seats, sat in that seat, and he said from that day forward, he thought, if I can pretend to do this and I visualize this all the way, I know that I can do this in my life. And I'm not going to be my circumstances. I'm not going to be what my parents are. I'm not going to be what people tell me that I'm going to be a failure. I'm not going to be those things. I can be a VIP and I can make it in this world. And now he is one of the top businessmen, makes such great money. And he actually brings guests from all across the world into his city, puts them up in a penthouse, and takes care of them and helps them to perform with other performers. And he just is full of love and giving and creating this magical attitude, if you want to say, just this
Mm-hmm.
magic around people,
Yeah.
to be able to
Yeah.
treat them the way that he never was treated.
Yeah.
And he became that person that would treat people that way.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head, Lorianne, by using that word attitude. It is an attitude.
Yeah.
And you choose it and you create it. And literally, you can create anything you want to create with the right attitude. You know, that's all it takes. Literally, that is all it takes is the right attitude.
Yeah.
You know, in my business coaching, and I don't know whether I shared this with you in the last few calls, but in my business coaching, the one thing I have told every single person that has come to me and said, I want to start this business, but I want to make sure I don't fail at it. So give me the top 10 steps that I need to take to make sure that I don't fail at this. You know what I told them? I said, you got 2 steps. Number 1, make your attitude exactly in line with what you want to accomplish. And don't ever fray away from that attitude. Keep that attitude there. And number 2, just don't quit till I tell you to.
Yeah.
Which I never told them to. If you look at the vast majority of businesses that fail in the first 3 to 5 years, they just quit trying too soon.
Yeah.
You know, goes back to that gold vein story that I told you guys about. The 2 brothers that looked for the largest gold vein in the history of the United States.
Yep.
It all goes back to it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's an attitude. Yeah. It's an attitude of saying, I will make it. I will be that person. That young gentleman she just referred to, he made it to the VIP section because he said, I will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept saying, I will be there. That's an attitude. When you keep saying something over and over again that is in a positive light and a positive movement, that's an attitude, folks. When you keep saying it over and over and over again, that's an attitude. That will take you everywhere. I promise you. It blessed me with an opportunity to travel the world with my wife. And I have. I've been honored to be on stages. I've been blessed to be in places that I thought only existed on postcards.
Right.
You know, I mean, when you stand up on the front of a boat and you look out and you go, wow, I remember seeing that in the magazine. That was my attitude that got me there, folks.
Right.
I knew I wanted it. I knew I wanted to share that vision with my wife.
Right.
And so I kept that attitude and did what I needed to do to make it work. And it happened.
Right. So you're saying that, what are some steps that teenagers can take, or teens, young adults who are listening to this, that they could have a successful attitude? What are some just small, simple steps that they could do? I have one that I know for sure that they could do, and that would be cut out of a magazine and paste it on a board and put it up in your room so you see it every day.
Vision boards.
A vision board or
vision
a
board.
vision wall. I had some of my teenagers that they would cut things out and just tape it on the walls in their room. I'd go in there and I'd be like, oh, all that tape is going to pull the paint off. Until I finally was just like, you know what? I am so happy to see their vision and their dreams up on their wall, and to have like these icons that they want to lead their life like? I mean, those
Mm-hmm.
things that you hang on the walls in your
Yeah.
bedroom and the things
Yep.
that you look at every single day, like
Mm-hmm.
really pay attention to what's up there, because
Yes.
your brain does not see negative words. So my
Mm-hmm.
daughter happened to have something hanging on her wall that said something about don't, like quitters don't fail. And all's your brain reads in there is quitters fail, but
Mm-hmm.
you're getting that, all those words, quit, fail, don't, like
Yep.
you're getting all this
Yep.
negative when it was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
something positive. So I would
Yes.
say, look around your room, see what your subconscious brain is seeing,
Mm-hmm.
and what is the message that it's saying up there to you.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Um, One of the things that I did when I was growing up and going through my younger business days, I actually, if I can find them, where did I put them? Hang on. Here they are. I actually have a belief that I put the owner of Post-it notes in a whole new tax bracket all by myself. Okay. I live with these things.
I should show
Okay.
you my office. I have this whole big huge board and it just
Oh, yeah.
sticky
Yeah.
notes all over.
I've got the big 30 by 24-inch Post-it notes. Oh, yeah. I've got all those too. That's actually how I created one of my early successful businesses. I went into my office, took all the pictures off the wall, and I took those big, huge Post-it notes
Yep.
and stuck them on the wall, two walls just lined with these big, huge Post-it notes. And then I took my office chair, I sat it in the middle of the room. I sat down and I said, okay, God, if this is really something you want me to do and not one of my crazy ass ideas, you're going to have to show me how it's going to work. And I sat there for about 10 minutes, had a Sharpie marker in my hand, and I just sat there, closed my eyes, and then all of a sudden, ding, a light bulb went off. And it was an idea. And I will tell you, it was a pretty great idea that I thought at the moment. And I just started writing. And within 40 minutes, I had filled every single one of those Post-it note pages up across both those walls.
Wow.
But that became like you were just talking about, the vision board.
Mhm.
That became my vision for this company.
Wow.
And I focused on it every single day. When I walked in my office every day, the very first thing I did was I'd read the whole thing, start to finish. That is what created my attitude towards this idea. And the more I read it, and the more I read it, the more my attitude formed around it, like that kid in the VIP seats.
Right.
I knew the more I came in that office and the more I read that attitude, that vision, I knew I was making that a vision that I wanted to come to fruition. And as I kept going and kept going and kept going, all of a sudden, resources showed up. All of a sudden, connections showed up. All of a sudden, obstacles that I had in the way disappeared. All of a sudden, people showed up that I needed to have. I mean, the universe brought me people to my business that I needed before I knew I needed them.
Wow.
That was the easiest hiring I ever did. This gal shows up. She goes, "You need this?" Yeah. Well, I do that. Okay, you're hired. Let's go. You know, so it's amazing when you visualize, and that's what those vision boards, just take a picture of something, put it on your wall, put it on a poster board and stick the poster board on your wall and cover that poster board with different pictures. That's the way I did mine when I first started. I took a big, huge poster board and I cut out pictures of everything I wanted and stuck them on that board. Now, I will tell you the funnest, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That is a lot of fun to do that, especially in a group format. But I will tell you what's even more fun.
What?
Having the party, the celebration party, when you peel those off the board because they've happened.
Right.
You know, those are
I
cool.
even have an idea. You can put it on your phone so that
Yep.
you can
Yes, you
see.
can.
So every day when you open
Mm-hmm.
the back screen of your phone, you can have
Yep.
your vision board items like listed right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine owns a chartered air flight jet, private jet company.
Uh-huh.
His first vision board to his company was his wallpaper on his phone. And it was a specific plane that he wanted to have in his fleet. He has it now
Wow.
because he looked at his phone every single day and he saw the picture of that plane every single day.
Yeah.
Everything laid in place for him. He kept the right attitude towards it and everything came to fruition. Now he owns that plane.
Yeah.
So
That's how you make things happen.
it is amazing how much, they say attitude is everything, and that sounds cliche-ish. I get it. I do. I get it. But here's what I will tell you. In the years and years and years and years that I've done business, and the years and years and years and years and years that I've worked with young adults and older adults and in between age adults and everything, the one thing I can promise you is, as cliche-ish as that sounds, it is probably one of the most accurate statements you will ever use in your life,
Yeah.
because it truly is. It truly, it controls everything you do, everything.
Yeah.
And you can create it as good as you want it. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you. So focus on what you want and create it the way you want it to be created. Keep that attitude up there as high as you can possibly keep it with that. Grab a lot of post-it notes and put that on a post-it note, stick it all over your bathroom mirror, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm
uh,
working in a class right now to prepare to do a TEDx talk. And
cool.
the guy that's training us has this thing called Miro board, something like that. And it's all
Mm-hmm.
sticky notes.
Mm.
It's digital, but it's all sticky
Uh-huh.
notes. So then
That's cool.
when you type in the things like the list of things that you need to do or questions that you have or whatever, it's all on
Mm-hmm.
these different colored sticky notes, and you can change the color or group the colors together or anyway.
Uh-huh.
So sticky notes are the best. They've even made them digital now that you can.
They are.
Isn't it
They are the
crazy?
best. They
Yeah.
are the best.
Well,
I
those are some
totally
really
enjoyed using them.
Yeah, those are some really simple steps that we can
Yeah.
take right now to help
Yeah.
with our attitude. I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times, this is one thing I did for my kids growing up. I would write down quotes or sayings or positive affirmations, something,
Mm-hmm.
and I would stick it inside the fridge, or I'd stick it inside the cupboard, or I'd
Mm-hmm.
stick it on their
Yeah.
bathroom mirror, or I
Yep.
would stick it in, their backpack, or, just something to
Mm-hmm.
give them a little spark of hope. And yesterday, I'm cleaning out some books because I'm getting ready to move. And so I'm cleaning out these books, and I started going through the book, and there are these sticky notes in there from my kids, like
Yeah.
saying, Mom, I love you so much, and da 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 da.
That's cool.
And these kids have all grown up and their handwriting has changed, but there's these
Mm-hmm.
little, my youngest son was here and he said, I never wrote that. And I said, you most certainly did. Here it is. It's your handwriting.
Yeah.
And he's going, I don't remember doing that. And I'm like, well, isn't it so cool that you guys did this and you stuck it in these books for me?
Yeah.
I think that is how we help our kids. If there's parents that
It
are
is.
watching this, that's how we help our kids, just in those
Mm.
little
Yes.
simple,
Yes.
simple
And
ways.
that's and I will say that, and that's, you hit the nail on the head there again, Lorianne. That is why our tagline to this show is daily doses.
Yes.
Parents, Your kid doesn't need to hear a monologue from you. They don't need to hear a 40-minute speech from you.
Right.
But what they really love to hear is that little 3-second burst of, hey, have a great day today.
You could do
Hey, I
it.
hope you do great on your test today. Hey, congrats on that score you got yesterday. Small.
Yeah.
Remember, one of the first things we taught was little things matter. It doesn't have to be big, huge stories. Little itty bitty things done consistently over and over and over and over and over. Those are the things that get put back in her notepad that she gets to look at years after she thought, I did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
They remembered it and they wrote a little note back to their mom because she evidently instilled that attitude in her children. That's what we're asking you to do with yours. Little daily doses of success for your kids. And, I will tell you, the cool part about it is, and I've had teenagers, but my children that were teenagers are now in their upper 30s. But guess what? I still have the same instances from my kids that are in their 30s as she's having from her kids that are in their teens. It all depends on the attitude you bring to the table for your young adult,
Right.
whatever age they are. And if you bring the right attitude, they'll bring it back. I promise you. And that's when that's when you had proud dad moments,
Yeah.
and proud mom moments. When you know that they caught a hold of that, they figured that part out and they use it themselves. And, I'm blessed that I've got grandchildren with these. And I know Lori, she has a ton more than I do.
I have a lot.
I was wondering, I got to ask, did you ever get a name wrong?
Always.
That's great.
Always.
Yeah. Well, I've only got 4, 2 boys and 2 girls. So far, knock on wood, I'm good in the name department so far. But yeah. Anyway, though, but it's really cool. When you see your kids reach back out to you with that attitude, and then you also see your kids reach their kids with that attitude.
Yeah.
Mom, dad, kudos to you. That's when you know you did right. Keep doing it. Don't stop now. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Little things consistently over time. That's why we say daily doses.
Right.
Daily doses. Just a little shot in the arm every now and then, a little shot in the brain every now and then.
Yeah.
But
John,
always make them good with a good attitude, positive,
yeah.
and that's what makes it come back.
Yeah, it does. And it does come back.
It does.
You had mentioned, and John is such an expert at these things. And he had mentioned to me that when he was going through his Success for Teens course that he did, that he had 4 pages of notes of questions that kids were asking and their parents were asking. And we want to give you the opportunity to do that too, to be able to get your questions answered. And even if John and I are not the expert at the questions that you have, we will find someone and invite them on the show to help
Yeah.
answer the questions that you
Yep.
send in. So you
Mhm.
can leave your questions in the comments if you are okay with that and you don't care if other people see the question that you're asking. Or you can email us, and our emails are listed in the description. So either way that you want to reach out to us, email us. Our emails are in the description. or leave a comment in the comment section, and we will get an answer to your question.
Yeah.
Because I know that
Yeah.
there's a lot of parents that are asking, what direction, or kids, like, your question
Mhm.
is, I want to do this. What's the best path for me to be able to create a
Mhm.
business? I'm only
Yeah.
this age and I want to do this for my business. Or
Mhm.
what is the best person that I could talk to about, I'm having some questions about how to deal with divorce with my parents. And I want to be able to have some help in this area. Or I
Yeah.
did see some questions, and I have said this in another episode if you didn't see that. I went through and I researched questions that teens are asking, and there were
Mhm.
a lot of teens that were asking questions about
Yeah.
how to deal with death, and how to deal with their friends' suicide, and how
Mhm.
to deal with divorce, and how to deal with sadness, or how to deal with getting a job and being able to keep it, or how to deal with my boss and we don't see eye to eye. There were so many questions in there
Mhm.
that teens were asking. And John and I, for sure, are not the expert in all of these areas, and we do not claim to be. But if you want to ask us questions, put them in the comments or send us an email. We will get the expert to
Yep.
answer those
Yeah.
questions for you. And
Yeah.
really,
We've got connections. We'll
yeah,
find the answer if we don't have it.
for sure we
Yeah.
will. So, and time is of the essence, we
Mhm.
really want this to be a part of, you can come on here, you can see us answering your question right then.
Mhm.
We're not going to
Yep.
drag this out over months and months and try and schedule somebody months down the road. We're going to get your questions answered as quickly
Mhm.
as we can.
Yep. So bring them on. We're not afraid of anything, because
Yeah.
I hate to sound cliche-ish as well than that, but you can't ask a dumb question, because I've already gone there
Yeah.
way too many
We've
times.
already done it. We've
Yeah.
already asked all the dumb questions,
Yeah.
so no
Yep.
questions are
Been
dumb.
there, done that, bought the t-shirt, sold it back, bought it again, thinking I got a better deal, sold that one back too. Yeah, no. You
I
don't
like
have to
that.
worry about no dumb questions with me.
Yeah,
We're
that's
good.
right. That's right.
And
Well,
besides which, I don't judge anything,
I was gonna
you
say
know?
you're pretty loving and respectful, and have a lot of
Yeah.
compassion
Thank
for
you.
people and for
Uh,
teenagers and all the things that they are going through.
yeah. Hey, life can be rough.
Yeah.
I get it. I
Yep.
get it. I do. Life can be rough. But there's two keys to this. Number one, ask for help.
Right.
You do not have to go through this alone. Trust me, I know all about that. If you guys think for 1 second I'm going through this stuff alone, you're crazy. I have an army of support angels that are helping me get through this ordeal, a massive army. Don't ever feel like you've got to go through anything alone, no matter how simple you think it is, because simple things left undealt with become big things. You don't want that either. So let's get it when it's at its easiest. So those simple questions you've got, shoot them out to us. Let's get them taken care of for you, so we can start you on the process of the simple steps moving forward. Small, remember we talked about small steps. Small, simple steps moving in a positive forward direction consistently over time. That's the key to the success for you. It's the same thing for everybody. Small steps consistently over time in a positive direction. So ask at will. We'll give you the answers, or we'll find the person that will. But we've got a lot to share. So I think we'll be able to take care of them pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just wanted to offer that to you guys, because we know there's a lot of, a lot of people out there that have questions going on right now. And I get it. So yeah, we're here for you. That's, one of the things Lorianne and I had, we decided from the get-go. We want to be a sounding board for you to bring our expertise to the table for you.
Right.
But we also want to bring a sounding board to where you can bring questions and we can help you with getting your answers.
Okay. Mic drop. Boom.
Boom.
See you tomorrow.
Cool beans. All right. Have a great day.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Love y'all.
Love ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.